Welcome to the Northern Powerhouse interview series, where we're unashamedly spreading good news by interviewing Northern businesses and their successes during the pandemic. Subscribe to be notified of new interviews or click the link in the description to take part if you'd like to be interviewed yourself in a future episode.
Good morning, welcome to Northern Powerhouses Business Success Stories. We're joined by Ian Wood this morning, who is a Managing Director at SimplyTrak. So good morning, how are you?
I'm absolutely fine. Sat in the boardroom here and I can see outside. The weather's not particularly good, but I'm feeling good this morning. It's Friday.
Obviously. It's Friday. The weather is pretty rubbish here as well, but it is Friday, so that's a good thing. So can I just start off by asking Ian, can you introduce yourself to us properly? Can you tell us a little bit more about what you guys do at SimplyTrak? Right,
okay. Well, I'm the Managing Director of SimplyTrak. I don't own the company, but for my sins, I'm the Managing Director. We supply vehicle tracking systems, so we primarily started just supplying cars and vans with some way of fleet managers being able to see and have full vision really of their vehicles that are out there. And that was, nearly 16 years ago. So we were supplying these systems, but over time we've been asked to develop and look at other ways and means of using our tracking systems to give the fleet managers even more vision really. Of their drivers that are out there. So we now do, we do driver behaviour statistics, for instance, so we can quite easily tell if the drivers are driving the vehicles harshly, so harsh cornering, braking and so on and things like that. And really we're not checking up on the drivers. They're actually given our driver behaviour portal. They're given point system every morning. They start off with 100 points, and then throughout the day they actually lose points for harsh braking, harsh cornering, accelerating, and so on. And what we found is rather than driver training and getting the staff back in to drive, really let them have a look and see what they are doing. And they tend to train themselves. And to be honest, they tend to look at and always want to be at the top of the league. And just with having a knock-on effect, it creates, less maintenance and whatnot. It saves so much money on your tyres and clutches and fuel, it has a knock-on effect and all that sort of stuff. So it's more we call it driver behaviour, but it's more, it's a full package really, in saving the company an absolute fortune. And that's just one of the extra things that we added to the tracking system. We've moved on to cameras, so we can have internal and external cameras, so we can actually see what the drivers are seeing. You've got your sort of witness cameras and dash cams and things like that. But ours are all connected to the system. So not only can you see where the vehicle is, you can actually see what the driver's actually seeing as well. And you can go back in time if there's been an incident and look and bring it all up. So from a basic tracking system that we started with, we've gone the full circle now. And we produce bespoke systems as well. We've got one of the largest courier companies in the world. I'll not mention any names, but they've asked us to look at a security system, and what they found is when they're delivering parcels and things like that, drivers, they did tend to leave the keys in the ignition, or the vehicles weren't secured. They've only got a certain amount of time to drop the parcel off, jump back in the car and then get on to the next. Because us, Joe Public, are wanting our parcels on time, and when they say it's going to arrive, we're sat there waiting for it to arrive. So they've asked us to develop some way of making our tracking system work with the vehicle to say, can we immobilize the vehicle, for instance? So if the driver gets out of the vehicle's immobilized. When they get back in, it's not immobilized, Quite a clever system, but as I say, from a basic tracking system to start with, you'd be amazed at what we can do now, and we have in-house team that we can develop generally whatever people ask for. We will be able to do it.
Amazing.
So that's we can say that's in a nutshell, and it's quite lengthy, but that's what SimplyTrak does.
Brilliant. That gives me a much better idea and insight. So how has the last year affected you guys at SimplyTrak?
Yeah, well, it's actually we've done really, really well. Because of these systems that we're putting in place. And you can imagine, because of buying things online and all these parcels and what have you need delivering, we supply them vehicles with our systems anyway, or quite a lot of them. And obviously, as their businesses started to boom because we were delivering more parcels, obviously it had a knock-on effect on our business. So they came knocking on our door to supply them more. So the business as a whole has done really, really well. Now that's because of the businesses out there that's come to us, but we've obviously had to think about, we've still got to run a business, and to run a business from home. And this is where we were a little bit concerned, as I was speaking earlier before to people, that working from home is something that we've never particularly wanted, because we are a very, very close-knit business. People talk about being a family business. It was, and it still is. It's just massively grown.
Yeah.
We didn't want people working from home, but we were told we had to. Now, my policy was, okay, I've got to think about the well-being of the staff. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care if you're at home and you're sat in your pajamas, sat in bed with your computer and your telephone. I don't care, as long as when the phones ring, the phones are answered. When we need to send trackers out, if we've got issues, we can sort them issues. We got a little program running. It's Slack, and we found that everybody logs on first thing in the morning, so I could keep an eye on who was logging on. And it's funny how we don't start. We've got our standard 8:30, 5 o'clock times, but people were logging on earlier and starting to talk, not particularly about the business. They were talking what they did over the week and what they did the following night. And it was quite easy for me to think, it's actually working. People are still talking and they're having these outside business conversations, and it was good to see. So we just carried it on, and that's how it's run, basically. We're starting to look at moving back into the offices now, but I don't think we're actually going to come back full time. If people want to work from home, I'm more than happy for them to do that, providing, they keep in touch. And if that phone needs answering, then somebody answers it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So how have the team, you mentioned that you put the Slack channel in place for communication and to encourage, not just business conversations, and that, that interaction that we've all really missed, I think, over the last year. So is that something that you're going to keep on with moving forwards? And how do the team feel about the new sort of half working from home, working in the office kind of stuff?
They love it, to be honest.
Yeah.
We've looked at, we've expanded, we've taken on more staff anyway. And to be honest, I don't think if we pulled everybody back in, we wouldn't fit in these offices anyway. But by working from home, it also allows us to expand even further without having to look for new premises. We can use SimplyTrak here as a hub. And to me, I also see it as a bit of a perk. We're saying, well, nobody works Fridays from the office.
Yeah.
Everybody works from home on Fridays. We introduced halfway through lockdown, so what we call a Friday night's drinks. So we all meet on Zoom on 4:30 on Friday. In fact, our Christmas do was done on Zoom. It was really good. We sent a hamper out to everybody, and we had a comedian on and games and things like that all over Zoom. So. But yeah, they see it as a bit of a perk. We've listened to our staff and they've suggested, can we work from home? Yes, of course you can, and we'll make sure nobody works on a Friday. And then, you know, if you want to get away early or whatever, if you've got a holiday booked or something, you can finish early, you know. So it's it's actually very good. You know, we're looking forward to the next stage really, and that's coming out of lockdown, keeping as we are, but making sure all our staff are kept happy. You know.
Absolutely. What do you guys envision might be sort of some challenges that you might face as we kind of emerge from lockdown?
Do you know, that's quite a difficult one to answer, to be honest. You know, because the only challenges really are the way the business is going and growing. Whether or not we're going to go far quicker than we would like to do. To employ somebody and train them up when they're partly working from home, it might be a case of, you know, they're going to have to come in for the first 3, 4, 5 months even to learn the processes that we do, and then start working from home. In reality, that's you know, staffing, I suppose, is the only challenges that I feel as though we can that we're going to come up against. We have stock, we can carry stock, you know, so as a company grows, we've always got the systems out there, you know, to enable us to do and to create new projects. People can just come in ad hoc if they need to do. You know, touch wood, you know, the staffing is the only challenges that we see really, which again, it isn't a big thing if we need to get somebody in for the first few months to get them trained up before they go on to the work from home rota. Yeah.
Brilliant. And what's been the biggest challenge that you've had to overcome during the pandemic, during lockdown? What's the biggest challenge you've ever had to overcome?
Well, we have quite a large portfolio really of contracts, you know, from councils to you know, large mega courier companies, and we've always been face to face. So if we're talking to companies, we would much rather be sat there in front of them, and those really have been the challenges. People like people. We've always said that, and we haven't really been able to do that other than the Zoom meetings and things like that, you know. So that's been a challenge, I suppose. Sending parcels out there and arranging, I mean, to be honest, all the parcels, the large parcels, have all been coming to my house. So I've been getting deliveries to my house, and then, you know, being arranged for them to actually being picked up and moved elsewhere. You know, those have been some of the challenges, but yeah, we thought the biggest challenge was going to be the staff, but as it turns out, it wasn't. You know, the way we decided to do things was, you know, it's obviously worked, being quite free and trusting our staff. I think that's been the main thing, is not worry about what they're getting up to. Don't care, as long as they're answering that phone and doing what we need them to do as a business, you know. So yeah, challenges. We seem to have managed to get away without massive challenges because of the way we've done things, you know. Brilliant. I think that's the key is if you can sort your staff out and make sure and keep them happy all the time. The challenges just seem to brush over our heads, to be honest. You know, we just deal with it. So
brilliant. I mean,
fortunately, we've been quite lucky, and I can't give you any major challenges that we've managed to overcome. But I think that's because of the way we did things in the first place.
Absolutely, it's testament to the team that you have, isn't it? To the, you know, you're as good as your people, and it sounds like you've got fantastic people with you.
Yeah. It really is. It's without them, without a doubt, you know, we could possibly have failed, you know. But I knew my team, so I know to say to them, I don't care what you're doing, you know, as long as you answer that phone and do what you need to do, then it's obviously worked. It really has.
Brilliant. So what about wins for you guys? What's been the biggest win that you've had over the last year? The biggest positive?
Biggest positives really is well, first off, we believed in our teams, always believed in our teams, and now it's actually sort of instilled that, you know, we know our teams are really, really what we believed in. The wins are, you know, the contracts that we've got as well off the back of COVID-19, really, you know, that really has catapulted our business. You know, yes, we looked at certain companies. We have, well, we also have one of the largest van hire companies, and they have individual franchisees, and they were actually struggling a bit. So what we did is worked with them and said, look, your monthly payments for your systems don't pay us. You know, have a 3 months, because we thought it was only going to last 3 months. Have a 3 months grace. But they've come back to us, you know, and they've expanded because of the delivery and things like that. And they've come back to us and ordered more vehicles because of what we've done. You know, we've won that confidence, really. You know, we thrive on our customer service. And I think getting through all this, you know, we really do give, it's a bit of a cliche, a lot of other companies say out there that, you know, we feel as though we've got the best customer service out there. But by this, I think the biggest win that we've got is we've been able to prove that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a huge win for us, really.
Brilliant. And what about you, like Ian, as a leader in the business over the last year when things have changed so greatly and suddenly you have had your teams working from home, and I know you said you guys are very much a family. How have you had to adapt your style as a leader?
Yeah, you feel as though it just happens, to be honest. You start doing things that you don't realise you're doing. I mean, we looked at mental health issues and awareness and things like that. And I found myself first thing in the morning that, you know, I've got the kids have got a couple of little miniature ponies and the chickens and things like that. So I was getting up first thing in the morning. I was getting into a routine. My office was upstairs, and I could go out in the morning, feed the ponies, do the chickens, feed the dogs, come back in, get the kids up, and got myself into a routine. And it seems to clear my head and put me in a position to set off for the rest of the day, really. It was really good. And now, you know, now we're looking at coming back, and I'm still doing that. Before then, I was work all the time, morning, noon and night, constantly. But now I give myself I clear my head, really, doing the ponies and things like that. So that's changed me. Looking at my staff first thing in the morning and checking in with everybody, whether it's a phone call or checking in on Slack, you know, you just know what everybody's doing throughout the day, which is something I never did before. Yeah, that's how it's changed me, really. And now I'm not having to staff my staff, as it were. I'm not having to check my staff, whereas I would have done before, because I know that they're doing. You know, it's proved it. They've all proved it, that I know that they're doing. So I'm actually having to do a lot less, really. You know, we have our team meetings, our Zoom meetings. We're always there on Friday as a rule. Quite often, my staff can't meet these team meetings because they're too busy working.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't ask any more for that, really. So
absolutely. It's funny that you say that you've, as a result of this, you've got more time back. You know, the team have demonstrated how efficient they are, and that's given you time back as an MD.
It has, yeah.
Amazing. What a win.
Never shut off, even on holidays. I've never shut off. But now, you know, we've restructured a little bit as well. We've promoted within as well. And it really has made me, you know, I can go away on holiday. Yes, I will check my phone and sneakily without the wife seeing. But
it's a hard habit to break. We all do it.
It is. But I really do feel, you know, we're not going abroad, but we have booked to go away in this country, and I'm so looking forward to it. And I'm going to try my hardest not not to think about the company if I can, because I know it's in good hands.
Absolutely, and that's, you know, for us, you know, at Action Coach, that's what we strive when we're working with business owners and, you know, managing directors and whatnot, is that so that you guys you're in a position whereby the business can work without you, and, you know, you've got a fantastic team of people in there who have systems and processes and everything that they need that we can leverage, and you can have that time away and not have to be on your phone all the time, and you can have that downtime.
Yeah.
Amazing. So with everything that you guys have learned over the course of the last year and all the adaptations that you've made, with all of that knowledge now, if we went back in time to last March, first lockdown, none of us had a clue how long this was going to last and what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. What would you do sooner or do differently?
That's a tricky one. Do you know, I'm not sure we'd change, because we when I say we panicked a bit, you know, what do we do? And then we just did it.
Yeah.
You know, I took it on myself. I knew my staff, and I took it on my staff to right, this is the way we're going to do things, and it just worked. You know, now we know why it worked, really. But do you know, I don't think I'd change the way we did it. Yeah, no, I don't.
And another tricky one, the last tricky one I'm going to ask you is, what have you learned the most about yourself as a leader during this time?
Ooh, that is a tricky one, isn't it? Yeah. When I was talking earlier about we believed in our staff, I wouldn't have really said that if I wasn't 100% sure that we believed in our staff, and then to come back to us and go, do you know, yes, we were right. So I didn't really believe in them, did I? Otherwise I wouldn't have said we were right. I think I've just got to believe more. Really believe more. I think listen. We all listen, and we do listen to issues and problems and things like that. But quite often, I have a little thing that goes on within the SimplyTrak environment where I ask people to call me if they are off sick, if they want to ring in sick and things like that. And it's a bit of a joke. It's something that I've always managed people nearly all my working career, and it's a bit of a joke that I never really believe people when they're off sick. Give me a call. It's not an issue. It really isn't an issue. You know, we're all this. You know, just get on with it. You know.
Yeah.
And now I've just got to shut that away. We've got good staff. If they're ringing sick, they're ringing sick. They're poorly. Hold my hands up. Yeah, that's all really. Just believe people more.
Really, it really does sound like you've got such an amazing team that are committed to what you guys are doing, and you know the proof is in the pudding, isn't it? They've demonstrated.
It is, yeah. You can ask me all these questions about, you know, what I've done and how I feel and what have you, but it's the team that's done it all. You know, in my eyes. Yes, we've got to be there to point them in the right directions, I suppose, in the first place. But you know, we haven't had to do that much pointing. You know, we work for a great company. We really do. And like you said, proof is in the pudding. You know, the company's doing really well. Everybody is quite happy where they're working, especially now. You know, the distance travellers, where they can work from home, they don't have to come in, and you know, it's even better for them. You know, so.
Absolutely, but credit to you as a senior leader and your senior leadership team as well. You set the vision and you inspire the team, and you know you help them along with the mission. So you know that comes from you guys.
Yeah. Yes.
How modest! What a modest chap. So the last question I'm going to ask you, Ian, is what's next for you guys? As we emerge into this new normal, what's next for you guys?
Expansion. Take over the whole of certainly the UK. We've been asked to look at. We do supply Africa and places like that anyway.
Oh, wow.
We are quite global, but we lost a lot of that when there was the crash.
Yeah.
I don't know when that was, but the dollar crash basically. To expand even further, we're now dealing with large corporate companies, and we just need to expand. We'll expand.
Amazing. Well, I would love to keep in touch and see what you guys are doing in another 6 months' time or in another year's time.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and your positive stories, what you guys have been able to take out of the last year. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Ian.
Thanks for watching. What was your takeaway from today's interview? Please post it in the comments below and subscribe for all our upcoming videos or click for the next video here.